Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, students of the world. I'm Christian Davis, coming at you from A-Level Titans, and this is an introduction to economics. So, what is economics? Economics is the study of decision-making and choice-making in a world with limited resources. Now, it's important to take the idea of limited resources because this creates the economic problem. The economic problem is in a world with limited resources, there's unlimited wants and desires in relation to people. Now, in other words, the economic problem results from scarcity, and when there's scarcity, there's need for choice. And when there's need for choice, there's an opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is the next best alternative for going. An example of this is, say I have £500. I am limited by my resources of £500. So I go to Curry's or any other retailer, and I want to buy either an iPad or a Samsung pad. Now, I can't buy both, I can only buy one, so whatever one I pick, the opportunity cost would be the other one that I didn't pick. So say I picked the iPad, the opportunity cost would be the Samsung tab. So it's important to note that you can show opportunity cost, choice and scarcity on a production possibility diagram, PPF curve, or whatever else it's called in the textbooks. So say we have an economy that can only produce either two goods, consumer goods or capital goods. If the economy produces at point X, the opportunity cost would be point Y, because they don't have enough resources to produce at both. So they can either produce a point A, where they use half their resources to make consumer goods, or they use half their resources to make capital goods. Now that is scarcity and opportunity cost shown on a PPF curve. Now, it's important to note that economics splits into two subsections, micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics studies the small bits that make up the economy. It studies individual markets, how people behave, why firms want to hire a certain amount of people. And then it splits into macroeconomics, which is the sum of microeconomics, in other words. It studies the whole economy on aggregate, why there's so much unemployment, inflation, and the balance of payments. It's also important to note that there's two different schools of thought that come from micro and macroeconomics. Macro is more Keynesian economics, when Keynesians believe that there should be government intervention and that it's important to work on the macro level. Then microeconomics is more to do with free market, and they believe there should be no government intervention and that everything can be sorted and handled on the micro level. Now, it's also important to note that the different types of economies, there's command, market economies, and mixed economies. Command economies is the planning mechanism that allocates resources is by the government. So people get their resources by the government. Now, it's the opposite for the market economy. The prices are allocated by supply and demand, and I can only buy things the amount of income I have due to how much demand there is for said item. Mixed economy is just a bit of both. There's a large government sector and there's a large private sector. Now, so there's different subsections of command and free market. There's capitalism, where the means of production are privately owned, and socialism, where the means of production are socially owned.